Unforgettable royal horse mishap. Tourists' close encounter takes a surprising turn. Not just any palace, but one where tradition and history mingled with the present, where guards in shining uniforms marched with precision, and where majestic horses carried centuries of stories on their strong backs. This particular palace was famous not only for its royal heritage, but also for the ceremonial horses that performed in stunning displays. Alex had seen pictures online, watched videos, and read countless travel blogs, but nothing could have prepared them for the real thing. The morning sun rose softly over the city, casting golden light on the towering walls of the palace. From a distance, Alex could see the elaborate gates decorated with intricate carvings that told stories of kings and queens long gone. The air was filled with a mixture of excitement and nervous anticipation. Alex's heart raced as the taxi approached the palace gates. Every bump in the road made it feel more real. As the vehicle stopped, Alex could barely contain the thrill that surged through their chest. Stepping out of the taxi, the first thing Alex noticed was the grandeur of the surroundings. The pathway leading to the palace was lined with neatly trimmed hedges and vibrant flowers that added a burst of color to the otherwise majestic stone architecture. Tourists from all over the world had gathered, their faces glowing with anticipation. Cameras clicked and flashes lit up the scene as people prepared to capture every moment of their visit. But Alex's excitement went beyond photography. It was the feeling of being in a place where history lived and breathed, where every corner held a story waiting to be discovered. As Alex moved closer to the entrance, the sound of hooves echoed through the courtyard. Turning their head, Alex saw a line of horses, each more beautiful than the last, standing tall with polished hooves and shining coats. The horses were calm, yet their presence commanded respect. Guards in ceremonial attire stood beside them, holding reins with steady hands. Their uniforms gleamed in the sunlight, and their disciplined posture reminded Alex of the countless hours of training that went into maintaining such precision. There was a sense of order and harmony that was almost mesmerizing. Alex walked along the edge of the courtyard, taking in every detail. The horses, muscles rippled beneath their smooth coats, and their eyes were calm, reflecting intelligence and awareness. Some tourists reached out their hands, hoping for a touch, but the guards carefully reminded everyone to maintain a safe distance. Despite the rules, Alex couldn't help but imagine what it would feel like to be close to these magnificent creatures, to sense their power and grace firsthand. The excitement was almost tangible, buzzing like electricity in the air. The crowd began to gather near a central platform where the ceremonial display would soon begin. Alex found a spot that offered a perfect view, right at the edge where the horses would trot in formation. Children sat on their parents' shoulders, trying to get a better look, and photographers adjusted their lenses, preparing to capture the moment. The air was filled with chatter and laughter, but underneath it all was a shared sense of anticipation. Everyone knew they were about to witness something special, something unforgettable. Alex's eyes wandered over the other visitors. There were families holding hands, young couples whispering excitedly to each other, and older tourists nodding with appreciation at the historical significance of the palace. Each person seemed to carry their own story, but for now, everyone shared a single purpose: to witness the royal horses and the grandeur they represented. Alex felt a sense of connection with the crowd, a quiet understanding that they were all part of this moment together. As the moment drew nearer, a hush fell over the crowd. The horses began to move into position, their steps deliberate and controlled. Alex could hear the soft jingling of their harnesses and the rhythmic tapping of hooves against the polished stone floor. The sight was mesmerizing. The horses moved with a fluid grace that seemed almost unnatural, their heads held high, their manes flowing with each step. Alex felt their breath catch at the beauty and power of it all. The palace itself added to the spectacle. Towers rose high above the courtyard, adorned with flags that fluttered gently in the breeze. The walls were decorated with frescoes and carvings that depicted stories of past kings, battles, and celebrations. Sunlight danced across the surface, highlighting the details and making the entire scene glow. Alex felt as if they had stepped into a living painting, where every element was carefully composed to evoke awe and admiration. Alex adjusted the camera, trying to capture the perfect shot, but soon realized that no photograph could truly convey the feeling of being there. The scale, the movement, the sounds, and even the subtle scent of hay and leather in the air combined to create an experience far beyond what any image could capture. Alex put the camera down for a moment and simply watched, allowing the moment to sink in. It was an overwhelming mix of admiration, excitement, and a touch of nervous energy. Suddenly, a loud trumpet sound echoed through the courtyard. The ceremonial display was about to begin. The crowd's attention sharpened, and Alex felt a thrill run through their body. The horses responded instantly to the signals, moving in perfect formation as if they were one entity rather than several individual animals. Guards guided them with subtle cues, their movements precise and coordinated. Alex was captivated, their eyes following every step, every turn, every elegant movement of the horses. As the display continued, Alex noticed something unexpected. The personalities of the horses began to emerge. One horse had a slightly playful energy, tossing its head and flicking its tail. Another moved with regal elegance, its every motion deliberate and dignified. Alex felt a deep appreciation for the connection between the horses and their handlers. It was clear that this was more than training. It was a partnership built on trust, respect, and countless hours of dedication. By the time the display ended, Alex's heart was racing, and a smile had spread across their face that refused to fade. The crowd erupted into applause, cheering and clapping for the horses and their handlers. Alex joined in, feeling a mixture of admiration, relief, and joy. It had been everything they had hoped for and more. For a moment, the excitement of being a tourist faded into something deeper, a genuine appreciation for the artistry, discipline, and beauty that they had witnessed. As the crowd began to disperse, Alex lingered, unwilling to let the moment end. They walked closer to the stables, drawn by curiosity and a desire to understand more. The horses, now calmer, nickered softly, acknowledging the presence of visitors without losing their composure. Alex watched as the handlers groomed them, brushed their manets, and spoke to them in gentle tones. It was a glimpse behind the scenes, a quiet reminder that behind every spectacular display was hard work, patience, and care. Alex realized that this visit was not just about seeing the horses perform. It was about feeling a connection to something timeless, something larger than themselves. The palace, the guards, the horses, they were all part of a tradition that had survived generations. And in that moment, Alex felt privileged to be a small part of it, to witness and remember it in a way that no photo or video could ever fully capture. By the time Alex finally stepped away from the stables, the sun was high in the sky, casting warm light over the palace grounds. Every sense was alive with the experience, the sights, the sounds, the smells, and even the subtle vibrations of the hooves on stone. Alex knew this was only the beginning of an adventure, a first chapter in what promised to be an unforgettable story. With a heart full of excitement and a mind buzzing with memories, Alex prepared to explore even further, unaware of the unexpected encounter that was about to change the day forever. Alex wandered closer to the stables, feeling both excited and a little nervous. The scent of hay, leather, and horse shampoo filled the air, creating a strange but comforting mixture. Each horse seemed to have its own personality, its own presence that made it stand out. Some were calm, quietly chewing hay, while others moved with a restless energy, pawing at the ground or flicking their tails. Alex took it all in, observing the animals with fascination, wishing to understand them better. A friendly attendant noticed Alex lingering near the stables and approached with a warm smile. "Would you like to feed one of the horses?" the attendant asked. The offer came as a complete surprise. Alex's eyes widened. Feeding a royal horse. That was more than they had ever imagined. The attendant explained that visitors were usually not allowed this close, but today, for those who showed respect and interest, a supervised opportunity was being offered. Alex could hardly believe their luck. With careful instructions, Alex was led to a beautiful horse with a shiny chestnut coat and a long, flowing mane. The attendant explained how to hold the feed and how to approach the horse without startling it. Alex listened carefully, nodding, feeling a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The horse nickered softly as Alex stepped closer, its large eyes observing every movement. It was intimidating and magnificent at the same time. Alex felt a shiver of anticipation, imagining the moment of connection that was about to happen. Holding a handful of feed, Alex extended a trembling hand toward the horse. Its soft muzzle brushed against Alex's palm, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. The horse took the food gently, and Alex felt a thrill at the simple yet profound connection. It was unlike anything they had experienced before, a living, breathing creature of incredible power and beauty, trusting a complete stranger. Alex laughed quietly, partly in relief and partly in amazement. This was a moment they would never forget. As Alex continued feeding the horse, they noticed subtle movements, small signs of the animal's mood and personality. The horse lifted its head, sniffed the air, and looked around, seemingly aware of every sound and movement nearby. It was alert but not anxious, curious but not mischievous. Alex realized that these horses were more than just majestic animals. They were intelligent, sensitive, and highly trained. Each one had its own story, and Alex felt honored to witness a small part of it firsthand. The crowd of visitors watched from a safe distance, their eyes filled with admiration and envy. Some whispered quietly to each other, commenting on the horse's beauty or Alex's bravery. Cameras clicked as people tried to capture the moment, but Alex was only partly aware of the attention. Their focus remained entirely on the horse, on the connection that was forming. It was a magical experience, simple in its essence, yet profound in its impact. Suddenly, the horse shifted its weight, reacting to something Alex could not see. Perhaps it was a fly, perhaps a sound from a distant corner of the courtyard. Whatever it was, it startled the animal. The chestnut horse took a small step forward, nudging Alex slightly. A surge of adrenaline shot through Alex's body. Their heart raced, and they instinctively moved back, trying to maintain balance. The moment was fleeting, yet intense, a reminder of the animal's strength and unpredictability. The attendant was quick to react, placing a calm hand on the horse's neck and speaking soothing words. "It's okay, gentle now," the attendant murmured, and the horse responded, settling down almost immediately. Alex breathed deeply, trying to calm their own nerves. They had been so focused on the joy of the moment that they hadn't fully considered the power and size of the animal in front of them. Now, a mix of excitement and caution surged through Alex. It was exhilarating and humbling at the same time. Despite the small scare, Alex felt even more connected to the horse. There was a silent understanding between them now, a recognition of trust and mutual respect. The horse's eyes seemed to convey intelligence and awareness, as if acknowledging Alex's efforts to approach with care. Alex reached out gently, stroking the horse's mane under the attendant's watchful eye. The soft touch of the hair beneath their fingers brought a sense of peace and wonder, a reminder of the simple joys that life could offer when one was fully present. As the experience continued, Alex noticed other visitors engaging with different horses under the supervision of attendants. Some were laughing at small mishaps, like a horse nudging their hand too enthusiastically, while others were quietly observing, absorbing the majesty of the animals. Alex realized that this moment was not just about feeding a horse. It was about witnessing a living connection between humans and animals, a relationship that required patience, respect, and understanding. Time seemed to slow as Alex remained by the horse's side, captivated by its presence. They watched how the horse interacted with the attendants, responding to subtle cues and gentle guidance. Every movement was deliberate and precise, yet full of life and energy. Alex felt as though they were learning a new language, a language of gestures, expressions, and silent communication. It was mesmerizing and educational at the same time, a lesson in empathy and observation that went beyond words. Then, in a moment that Alex would later remember vividly, the horse shifted unexpectedly again. This time, it was a more significant movement. Alex's foot caught on a small stone, causing them to stumble slightly. Panic flashed through their mind as they tried to regain balance, but the horse, sensing the unease, stepped forward in the same direction. For a split second, Alex felt a surge of fear. The crowd watched, concerned but unsure of what might happen next. Alex's body tensed, instincts kicking in. They braced for impact, trying to remain calm and steady. The attendant immediately stepped closer, guiding both Alex and the horse to a safer position. The animal, remarkably gentle despite its size, nudged Alex lightly and then stood still, as if reassuring the tourist that everything was fine. Relief flooded through Alex, mingled with a sense of awe at the horse's intelligence and sensitivity. It was a reminder that even in moments of fear, understanding and connection could prevail. The crowd erupted into quiet applause, acknowledging both Alex's courage and the horse's calm behavior. Some visitors whispered words of encouragement, while others clapped softly, creating a warm atmosphere of shared appreciation. Alex smiled, feeling a mix of embarrassment and pride. They had faced a moment of uncertainty and emerged with a deeper connection to the horse and a richer understanding of these magnificent animals. After a few more moments of gentle interaction, the attendant guided Alex to step back, allowing the horse to move freely. Alex watched as the chestnut horse returned to its companions, blending seamlessly into the group, yet still radiating individuality and presence. The experience had been brief but unforgettable, leaving Alex with a profound sense of gratitude and wonder. It was a story that could not be captured in photographs alone. It had to be felt, lived, and remembered. As Alex walked away from the stables, they noticed a quiet corner of the courtyard where a few children were sketching the horses in their notebooks. Their faces were filled with concentration and delight, and Alex felt a sense of connection across ages and experiences. Everyone here, in some way, was touched by the horses' presence, inspired by their beauty, grace, and intelligence. Alex realized that this shared experience, this moment of collective admiration, was part of what made visiting the palace so special. The sun climbed higher in the sky, casting warm light across the courtyard. Shadows shifted, highlighting the details of the architecture and the horses' movements. Alex felt fully immersed in the moment, aware of every sound, every movement, and every subtle expression of the animals and attendants around them. The excitement of the visit blended with a deeper appreciation for the history, care, and tradition that surrounded the royal horses. With a final glance at the chestnut horse, Alex turned to continue exploring the palace grounds. A mix of exhilaration, curiosity, and anticipation filled their heart. They knew that the day held more surprises, more encounters, and perhaps even unexpected challenges. But for now, the memory of feeding the horse, the gentle nudge, and the shared connection remained vivid, a treasure that would stay with Alex forever. Unaware of what was about to happen next, Alex stepped forward with a sense of confidence and wonder, ready to embrace whatever the royal palace had in store. The morning's adventure had already been unforgettable, But it was only the beginning of a story that promised excitement, laughter, and lessons that would linger long after the visit ended. Alex had just stepped away from the chestnut horse, feeling exhilarated and lighthearted. After the close encounter, the palace grounds were still buzzing with visitors, but Alex's focus had shifted to exploring other areas, perhaps the ornamental gardens or the stables where younger horses were being trained. Every corner of the palace seemed to hold a secret, a story waiting to be discovered. But fate, it seemed, had its own plan for Alex, one that would turn a delightful visit into an unforgettable experience. As Alex wandered along a cobblestone path lined with bright flowers and manicured hedges, the sound of hooves clopping on stone drew attention. A group of horses was being led across the courtyard, moving in perfect formation under the watchful eyes of their handlers. Alex slowed down to watch, captivated by their elegance and precision. Each horse seemed aware of the other, stepping in time with an almost musical rhythm. The sight was mesmerizing, like a carefully choreographed dance where power and grace blended seamlessly. Curiosity got the better of Alex. They edged closer, careful not to step on the pathway reserved for the horses. The attendants noticed but simply nodded, appreciating the respectful distance Alex maintained. The young tourist's excitement was contagious. Other visitors nearby smiled at Alex's wide-eyed fascination. Every detail of the horses, their polished coats, the soft flicking of tails, the gentle nods of their heads, seemed alive, telling a story that words could not capture. Then, as Alex leaned slightly forward to get a better look, something unexpected happened. A small decorative post near the edge of the path caught Alex's foot. Startled, they stumbled slightly, barely regaining balance. At the same time, one of the horses, perhaps startled by a sudden noise or movement, shifted its weight and took a small step toward Alex. In that split second, time seemed to slow. Alex's heart pounded as the majestic animal moved closer than anticipated. Instinctively, Alex reached out for support but realized there was nothing nearby to hold on to. The horse's size, its sheer presence, was intimidating up close. Its soft hooves clacked against the stone floor, sending vibrations through Alex's feet. The attendants, quick and alert, shouted gentle commands, trying to guide the horse back into line. Alex froze for a moment, caught between awe and fear. Every instinct screamed caution, yet the mind was flooded with a mixture of fascination and disbelief. The crowd around the courtyard gasped. Some visitors took a step back, while others held their cameras tight, unsure whether to record or help. Alex's mind raced. Don't panic, they thought, breathing in deeply. But it was impossible not to feel the power of the animal in front of them. The horse's dark eyes met Alex's, calm yet alert, almost as if the animal itself was aware of the human's presence and uncertainty. There was a strange intelligence in those eyes, a gentle reminder that this was no ordinary creature. It was strong, graceful, and highly aware of everything around it. As Alex tried to step back, the foot that had caught on the decorative post twisted slightly, causing a brief stumble. Panic surged, and a nervous laugh escaped Alex's lips, breaking the tension but not the danger. The horse moved closer, responding to an unseen cue, and Alex instinctively braced for impact. The attendants rushed forward, their voices calm but firm, guiding both Alex and the horse to a safer position. "It's okay, gentle now," one of them said, and the horse seemed to understand, stepping back slightly while maintaining its dignity. Despite the scare, Alex felt a strange sense of connection with the horse. There was no aggression, no anger, only awareness and presence. It was a living reminder that even in moments of fear, respect and understanding could transform the situation. Alex cautiously reached out, offering a soft stroke along the horse's neck. The animal responded by nuzzling gently, a quiet gesture that melted away some of the tension. The crowd, sensing the resolution, murmured in relief and admiration. However, the incident was far from over. As Alex tried to regain full balance, another horse in the group shifted its position, causing a ripple effect. Suddenly, a small gap appeared between the horses, and the chestnut horse, curious and alert, took another step toward the edge of the path. Alex's foot caught on the same decorative post again, this time losing balance entirely. With a surprised gasp, Alex stumbled forward, arms flailing to catch themselves. The crowd watched in shock and anticipation, unsure whether the situation would escalate. In that moment of imbalance, Alex collided gently with the horse's side. The impact was not harmful, but it startled both Alex and the animal. The horse gave a soft nicker, stepping back instinctively, while Alex hit the ground lightly on one knee. Relief and adrenaline surged through Alex simultaneously. The attendants were immediately at hand, steadying both the horse and the tourist, checking to ensure no one was hurt. Alex's face flushed, partly from embarrassment, partly from the rush of excitement that still coursed through the veins. The incident, brief as it was, captured the attention of everyone nearby. Tourists whispered to one another, some pointing out the courage Alex had shown in a sudden, unexpected moment. Others clapped softly, recognizing the gentle handling of the horses by the attendants. Alex, though a little shaken, found themselves laughing quietly at the absurdity of the situation. What had started as a simple curiosity had turned into a thrilling, adrenaline-filled encounter. The unexpected mishap, though slightly frightening, had also created a unique memory, a story that Alex knew would be retold many times. The attendants guided Alex to stand fully upright, patting the horse gently to reassure it. "You're safe now," one said, smiling warmly. Alex took a deep breath, feeling the muscles relax after the sudden surge of tension. There was a profound sense of respect for both the horses and the handlers. In a moment of chaos, everyone had responded with care, skill, and patience. Alex realized that this was the true essence of visiting a place steeped in tradition and discipline. The understanding that even when things go unexpectedly, grace and composure could restore balance. Once steady, Alex took a moment to observe the horse more closely. Its dark eyes reflected calm intelligence, and its movements, though powerful, were careful and precise. Alex's admiration deepened. They could see why these animals were treated with such reverence, why generations of handlers had dedicated themselves to building trust, discipline, and harmony. It was not just a display of beauty and strength. It was a testament to patience, dedication, and the subtle language of understanding between humans and animals. The crowd began to relax as well, murmuring softly and resuming their photos and conversations. Alex, now composed, looked around and noticed children sketching the horses, families pointing out details, and other tourists carefully observing the interactions. There was a shared sense of wonder, a collective acknowledgement of how extraordinary these moments could be. Alex felt part of something larger, a community united by admiration for the horses and the timeless tradition they represented. In the following minutes, Alex continued to observe the chestnut horse, now calm and standing proudly among its companions. They noticed how its mane caught the sunlight, creating a halo of golden strands. The soft rustle of its coat, the gentle flicking of its tail, and the quiet nicker it gave to the handlers. All these small details combined to create a vivid, unforgettable experience. Alex realized that while the mishap had been frightening, it had also made the encounter more real, more alive, and more memorable. As the horses were finally guided back to their designated areas, Alex took a step back, allowing the animals to move freely. The crowd, still buzzing with excitement, began to disperse slowly. Cameras clicked, conversations continued, and laughter echoed across the courtyard. Alex, however, lingered, savoring the lingering connection to the horses, the thrill of the close encounter, and the lessons learned from the moment of imbalance. It was a mix of emotions, relief, admiration, awe, and an unspoken gratitude for the experience. By the time Alex finally moved away from the horse, the sun had risen higher, casting warm light over the palace grounds. Shadows shifted across the stone floor, highlighting the details of the architecture, the horses, and the vibrant flowers along the path. Every sense felt alive. The sight of the majestic animals, the sound of hooves and distant laughter, the subtle sense of hay and leather, and even the faint breeze brushing against the skin. Alex felt fully present, immersed in the magic of the moment, aware that this mishap, as startling as it had become one of the most exhilarating experiences of the visit. Walking slowly away, Alex realized that this encounter had taught more than just caution near large animals. It had shown the importance of respect, patience, and observation. Even in moments of fear or uncertainty, connection and understanding could transform the situation into something positive. The mishap, brief as it had become a story of courage, learning, and awe, a story that would remain vivid in Alex's memory for years to come. As Alex continued toward the next part of the palace, there was a quiet smile on their face, a mixture of relief and joy. The day was far from over, and the adventure promised more discoveries, more surprises, and perhaps even more unexpected encounters. But the memory of the close encounter with the royal horse, the stumble, the nudge, the shared understanding, would stay with Alex forever, an unforgettable moment of excitement, humility, and connection. After the startling incident with the chestnut horse, Alex felt a rush of emotions that were difficult to untangle. There was relief that no one had been hurt, exhilaration from the close encounter, and most unexpectedly, a growing sense of connection with the animal. Alex stood for a moment, breathing deeply and taking in the courtyard around them. The palace grounds were alive with movement and sound, yet amidst it all, a quiet energy seemed to radiate from the horses themselves, a calm confidence that had an almost magical effect on anyone nearby. An attendant approached Alex again, a kind smile on their face. "Are you all right?" they asked gently. Alex nodded, brushing a strand of hair from their face, still a little shaken but mostly laughing at the absurdity and thrill of the situation. "Yes, thank you, I'm fine." "That was intense," Alex admitted, their voice carrying a mixture of awe and amusement. The attendant chuckled, understanding completely. "Horses are intelligent, gentle creatures," they explained. "They can sense emotions and they respond to even the smallest signals. Today, you've shown respect, and that is why the horse remained calm. Many would not have managed so gracefully." Alex felt a warm sense of pride at the compliment, though it was mixed with humility. Handling such a large, powerful animal was never easy, and the moment had been a clear reminder of that. But it was also a revelation, one of those rare moments in life when fear, respect, and admiration converge to create an unforgettable experience. Alex's heart was still racing slightly, but in a good way, like the afterglow of excitement following a thrilling ride. The attendants guided Alex to a quieter area near the stables, away from the bustling crowd. Here the horses were more relaxed, moving slowly or standing still, some nuzzling one another, others quietly chewing hay. The chestnut horse, now calm and dignified, watched Alex with soft, intelligent eyes. It was as if the animal understood the human's journey through fear and excitement, and was now extending an unspoken gesture of reassurance and trust. Alex felt drawn to the horse once more, stepping closer with a cautious but eager curiosity. This time the approach was calm and deliberate. Alex extended a hand, allowing the horse to sniff it, just as they had before. The animal responded with a gentle nicker, leaning slightly into the human's touch. Alex's fingers traced along the mane, feeling the smooth hair under their fingertips. The sensation was calming and grounding, and a deep sense of connection formed between the two. It was not merely admiration for the horse's beauty, but a genuine understanding, a recognition of the intelligence, patience, and trust that defined the animal. Nearby, the crowd had noticed the quiet interaction and had grown silent, observing respectfully. Some whispered words of encouragement, while others simply watched, captivated by the mutual trust displayed between human and horse. The atmosphere was no longer tense or anxious. Instead, it was filled with admiration and warmth. Alex realized that this was the most remarkable part of the visit, not the stunning architecture, not even the disciplined parade of horses, but this simple, silent communication between two beings. As the moments passed, Alex noticed subtle movements in the horse, small gestures, almost imperceptible to anyone else, that conveyed comfort, awareness, and acknowledgement. A soft flick of the ear, a gentle shift of weight, a low nicker, all seemed to say, "I understand you. You are safe here." Alex felt a mixture of joy and humility. This wasn't a moment to be captured with a camera. It was to be felt and remembered, etched into the mind as a private, treasured experience. The attendants stood nearby, observing with satisfaction. One of them spoke softly to Alex, sharing insights about the chestnut horse's training. "This horse has been part of the royal stables for many years," the attendant explained. "It has worked with several handlers and has a calm, reliable temperament. Yet even the gentlest horses are aware of sudden movements and can react instinctively. Today, you approached with respect and patience, and that made all the difference." Alex listened intently, fascinated by the depth of knowledge required to understand these animals. It was not just physical strength or elegance. It was intelligence, observation, and communication, all blended into one living being. The realization left Alex with a profound sense of respect for the horses, the handlers, and the traditions that had been maintained over generations. This connection was about much more than a casual tourist encounter. It was about understanding life in a deeper, more empathetic way. Feeling encouraged, Alex asked a question, their voice soft but curious. "How do you train them to stay calm, even in crowded places?" The attendant smiled, happy to share the knowledge. "Patience, consistency, and trust," they said simply. "We never force them. We use gentle guidance, rewards, and an understanding of each horse's personality. Every horse is different. Some respond quickly, others require more time. What matters most is respect for the animal and a clear communication between human and horse." Alex nodded, absorbing every word. The lessons of the moment were not limited to horses alone. They were life lessons. Patience, understanding, and respect could transform situations that might otherwise feel stressful or overwhelming. Alex felt a new sense of calm, the adrenaline from the earlier mishap settling into a deep appreciation for the experience. It was remarkable how much a single encounter could teach, and Alex knew this was one of those rare life lessons that would remain vivid forever. Just as Alex was beginning to relax fully, the horse nuzzled their shoulder softly. It was a gesture of comfort, an almost human-like reassurance that everything was all right. Alex laughed quietly, feeling a warmth spread through their chest. The mishap from earlier seemed distant now, overshadowed by the genuine connection that had formed. What could have been a moment of fear had transformed into one of trust, friendship, and mutual respect. Other visitors had begun to notice the shift in atmosphere and were smiling quietly, some even whispering compliments about Alex's bravery and composure. Children nearby pointed excitedly at the horse, while adults nodded in admiration. The entire courtyard seemed to exude a softer energy, a sense of shared experience and quiet celebration of the bond between human and animal. Alex felt a deep gratitude for being part of it, knowing that this was no ordinary tourist moment. Time seemed to stretch as Alex continued to interact with the horse. Every subtle movement, every gentle touch, became a part of a memory that would last a lifetime. The attendants, seeing the connection, allowed a few more minutes before guiding Alex gently back to a safe distance. Alex reluctantly stepped back but continued to watch, marveling at the chestnut horse's beauty and intelligence. The animal, calm and dignified once more, seemed to acknowledge the human's appreciation with a soft flick of the ear and a gentle nicker. As the attendants led the horse away, Alex felt a bittersweet mix of emotions. The encounter was ending, yet the experience had left an indelible mark. Alex's heart was full of joy, awe, and gratitude. This moment, born from a startling mishap, had transformed into something deeply meaningful, a reminder that sometimes the most unforgettable experiences emerge from unexpected challenges. Walking slowly toward the palace exit, Alex reflected on the day so far. The grandeur of the palace, the precision of the ceremonial displays, and the breathtaking beauty of the horses had all combined into a singular, magical experience. But it was the personal connection, the quiet understanding between human and horse, that had left the strongest impression. Alex realized that this was what made the visit truly unforgettable, the blending of excitement, fear, admiration, and empathy into one remarkable story. By the time Alex reached a sunlit terrace overlooking the courtyard, the bustle of the crowd had softened. Visitors wandered at a slower pace, some pausing to take in the architecture, others lingering near the gardens. Alex found a quiet spot to sit, gazing out at the horses now resting peacefully in their stables. The chestnut horse, in particular, seemed to exude calm confidence, a living symbol of grace and intelligence. Alex smiled, realizing that the day's events had not only been exciting, but had also provided a profound lesson in observation, patience, and respect for life. In the quiet of that moment, Alex took a deep breath, savoring the combination of adrenaline, joy, and peace that flowed through them. The palace, the horses, and the attendants had all contributed to an experience that was as much emotional and educational as it was thrilling. Alex knew that this story, born from a near mishap and transformed into a bond, would be remembered, retold, and cherished for years to come. With a final glance at the courtyard and the horses within it, Alex rose, ready to continue exploring the palace. The excitement of adventure was still alive, but there was now a deeper sense of awareness and appreciation. Each step, each turn, each sight would be experienced with renewed mindfulness, shaped by the lessons learned from the royal horses and the attendants' guidance. As Alex moved forward, a quiet smile lingered, a testament to the transformative power of the day. What had begun as a simple visit to see ceremonial horses had evolved into an unforgettable encounter filled with fear, laughter, understanding, and connection. And even as new experiences awaited, the memory of the chestnut horse's nudge, the attendants' calm guidance, and the shared moments of trust and admiration would remain at the center of Alex's journey, an unforgettable part of an already extraordinary day. The sun had climbed higher in the sky, casting a warm, golden light across the palace grounds. Alex felt a mix of tiredness and exhilaration, a combination that only comes from a day packed with extraordinary experiences. Every step through the courtyard brought back memories of the chestnut horse, the stumble, and the gentle nudge that had changed the visit from ordinary to unforgettable. Now, as Alex walked toward the exit, the events of the day replayed vividly in their mind like a film, each moment sharper and more vibrant than the last. The palace grounds were quieter now. Tourists had begun to disperse, some heading toward cafes and gift shops, while others lingered near the gardens, photographing flowers, fountains, and statues. Alex wandered slowly, savoring the last few hours of the visit, feeling both reflection and contentment settle in. The grandeur of the architecture, the soft murmur of voices, and the distant sound of hooves created a peaceful soundtrack for contemplation. Alex realized that while the royal horses had been the highlight of the day, the entire visit, the sights, sounds, and people, had contributed to an experience far richer than they had imagined. As Alex strolled along a shaded path near the stables, memories of the close encounter with the chestnut horse returned. The stumble, the moment of panic, and the gentle nuzzle all felt surreal now, almost like a dream. Yet the emotions remained vivid. The surge of adrenaline, the rapid heartbeat, and the relief that followed. Alex smiled quietly, realizing that this incident, which might have been frightening to some, had become the most extraordinary and valuable part of the visit. It was a story that could be retold countless times, always with a mix of laughter, awe, and reflection. Alex paused near a fountain, watching the sunlight dance on the water's surface. In that reflective moment, they considered how much the day had taught them. Patience, respect, and observation. Lessons that applied not only to interacting with animals, but also to life itself. Alex thought about how fear could be transformed into connection when met with calmness and understanding, and how moments of uncertainty could evolve into experiences of profound meaning. It was a lesson that would linger long after the visit ended, shaping how Alex approached other challenges and opportunities in life. As Alex continued walking, the attendants from earlier appeared nearby, guiding other visitors while keeping an eye on the horses. One of them approached, smiling warmly at Alex. "You handled today very well," the attendant said kindly. "Many would have panicked, but you stayed calm and respectful. The horse sensed that. It made all the difference." Alex felt a swell of pride combined with humility. It was not just about personal courage. It was about a shared understanding, a partnership between human and animal. The attendant nodded toward the chestnut horse, now standing quietly among its companions. "They remember kindness," the attendant added, "and they respond to it." Alex lingered for a few more moments, watching the horse. Its presence seemed almost regal, every movement deliberate yet relaxed. The earlier mishap felt like a small part of a much larger story, a story of connection, respect, and trust. Alex reached out one last time, running fingers along the horse's smooth neck. The animal responded with a soft nicker, a gesture of acknowledgement and farewell. Alex laughed softly, feeling a warm, lingering bond that had formed in just a few brief hours. Moving toward the palace exit, Alex noticed families taking photos, children pointing at the horses, and couples quietly admiring the grandeur of the grounds. There was a sense of collective memory forming in the air, a shared experience of wonder and admiration. Alex realized that every visitor would leave with their own version of the day, their own personal stories and highlights. For Alex, the story was unmistakable, a mixture of excitement, fear, laughter, and connection that would remain vivid for years to come. Outside the palace gates, Alex paused to take a deep breath. The city beyond seemed lively and ordinary, yet Alex felt transformed by the day's experiences. The encounter with the chestnut horse, the gentle guidance of the attendants, and the moments of calm observation had created a lasting impression, teaching lessons about patience, empathy, and courage. Alex smiled at the thought that sometimes the most memorable experiences were born from the unexpected, the moments that could have gone wrong but instead became extraordinary. Alex's camera, which had been used mostly for capturing the surroundings, now seemed almost secondary. The true photographs were etched into memory. The wide eyes of the horse, the flash of sunlight on its mane, the gentle nuzzle that followed the stumble, and the soft reassurance from the attendants. These were images that no lens could perfectly capture, yet they were more vivid than any photo could ever be. Alex knew that the story would be shared with friends and family, but its essence, the mixture of excitement, fear, and wonder, was something that had to be felt personally to be fully understood. As the day drew to a close, Alex found a quiet bench overlooking the palace gardens. The scent of flowers mixed with the faint aroma of the stables, creating a comforting and grounding atmosphere. Birds chirped softly, and a gentle breeze brushed against Alex's face. Sitting there, Alex reflected on the journey from the morning's arrival to the unforgettable encounter with the horse. Every step, every observation, every small decision had contributed to a rich, layered experience. The mishap, once startling, had become the defining moment, the moment that transformed curiosity into awe, fear into connection, and observation into appreciation. Alex thought about the attendant's words, the lessons embedded in the interactions with the horses. Patience, understanding, respect, and trust. These principles were universal. They applied not only to interactions with animals but to people, experiences, and life itself. Alex felt a sense of gratitude for having witnessed these lessons firsthand, for having been able to participate in a moment that was both thrilling and profoundly meaningful. It was a rare combination, one that left the heart full and the mind reflective. Nearby, visitors continued to enjoy the gardens, but Alex felt a gentle separation from the crowd, a quiet introspection that made the moment feel personal and significant. The palace, the horses, and the attendants had all contributed to a day that was extraordinary in ways both visible and invisible. Alex realized that the story of the day would live on, not just as a tale to tell, but as a memory, a lesson, and a source of inspiration for the future. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, casting long shadows across the palace grounds, Alex rose from the bench, feeling a sense of closure and fulfillment. The day had been an adventure, a journey of emotions, and a study in connection and respect. The mishap with the chestnut horse, the gentle guidance of the attendants, and the shared moments of trust had all combined to create a story that was unforgettable. It was a story of courage, learning, and joy, one that would remain alive in memory long after the visit ended. Walking toward the city streets beyond the palace, Alex felt lighter, more aware, and quietly exhilarated. The excitement of the day had transformed into a deep appreciation for beauty, patience, and the unexpected lessons that life often presents. Alex smiled, knowing that this visit was more than a typical tourist experience. It was an adventure, a personal journey, and a reminder that even the smallest moments, like a gentle nudge from a horse, could carry profound meaning. As Alex disappeared into the bustling city streets, there was a sense of quiet triumph and gratitude. The palace, the horses, and the attendants had created a narrative that was thrilling, educational, and deeply human. Alex would carry the memory of the chestnut horse, the stumble, the laughter, and the bond forever. It was a story that would be shared, cherished, and retold, not just for the excitement it contained, but for the lessons it offered and the joy it inspired. That night, as Alex rested, the day replayed like a vivid dream. The grandeur of the palace, the elegance of the horses, the sudden stumble, and the gentle nuzzle, the entire journey came alive with every thought. The mishap, far from being a moment of embarrassment, had become the highlight, the turning point that made the experience memorable, meaningful, and unique. Alex drifted to sleep with a smile, knowing that the story would remain with them forever, an unforgettable adventure in the heart of a royal palace, filled with fear, laughter, connection, and wonder.